big virtual hug to you as well.
Oh,
You guys really put me back there. I mean,
oh,
the road is still long. It's a far, yeah, we still got work to do, but I mean, like, you guys, you did a tremendous work, and I will be forever grateful for it.
oh, you did all the work.
I know, but I couldn't have done it, I think, without your guidance. I
Oh,
couldn't.
well, tiny, tiny. Well, thanks for like hopping on here and chatting. I so appreciate it. So I wanted to do a little project that showed kind of more of a use case. So basically, I drew a little avocado. It's very cute, but it's very silly. That's basically the raffle ticket, and that you have to buy NFTs with cryptocurrency, which is where you get into like all the crypto talk. But that's what you have to buy it with. And so each of my little NFTs, there will be 1,000 of them. Each is a raffle to win a spot on my roster to work with me. Right?
Awesome. Sign in,
So
guys.
it's a pretty good prize.
It is life is changing experience. I'm telling you.
If somebody were to win, like what would they be winning? What does it look like?
Oh, I've been tested by this relationship throughout these 12 months. No, longer than 12 months, actually. It's
Yeah.
been seriously such a fun ride. First of all,
Oh my
I
god.
don't know where to start actually, but I would like to like begin with that I was kind of in a tricky position. I came up from a ACL injury when I got in touch with you, Ashley.
Yep.
And basically, the whole experience has been life changing for me. I think it's a career changing move. Personally, I'm very glad that we got in touch with you because I think it will serve me for maybe save me more years in the game of football as well. I think I will gain many years. And yeah, I came up with this ACL injury, and unfortunately, I got another stress fracture. That was yeah. Long story short, I suffered a 20 months long injury break, which is very tough. But with the work that we put down together, I feel like I actually managed to maintain a lot of my muscles, even though it was hard in many periods. And I've learned so much about how my body works with the right nutrition, with the right lifestyle, with the right mindset as well. And obviously, the very interesting part was also to learn about the whole genes spectrum of it, which was quite mind blowing. But also that you made it very fun and interesting because I've been involved in so many nutritionists where they basically give you the same feedback, the same program. But basically, with you, we kind of like went in and composed the whole program and made it at such a high level individual so that it suits each and every individual, and that's what made a difference as well, I think. So I've never felt better. I haven't I have still to prove on the pitch all the work we put down the last month, the last year, but I'm feeling really good, both physically but mostly mentally as well, with all the routines I got in and ready to roll for many years, I hope, at the high level. I think that injuries also makes you think different. It makes you to think different about your body. And obviously, when I got injured, I thought that okay, this is the time where I actually have a chance to go find a competence that I don't have, obviously, and try to improve all the areas I could manage to improve that I hadn't worked on that much. Obviously, I was eating well before we met each other, but I feel like I'm eating much more intelligent now than what I did before because I didn't have the knowledge of nutrition, enough in knowledge of nutrition. So obviously, yeah, I we met, like you could say that it was luck in unluck,
Yeah.
the whole injury part, because it actually got me the opportunity to link up with you.
Yeah. And when we kind of like started, what were your expectations? Like, what did you think was going to happen, and then like what actually happened when we're like, okay, let's start. Tell me about that, because I heard
Okay, so for
it's very different than what you expect.
so first of all, I thought, okay, now I'm getting in contact with a crazy American, and this is gonna be a wild ride. But what's very cool with it is that I feel like Americans think differently than Europeans, which is very interesting already. And I like to link up with people who think different. But obviously, I had no idea what to expect, to be honest, because it was at such another level that I could expect. Like I said, mentioned earlier, I've been in contact with nutritionists who told me to eat my carbs, to eat my protein, and it's been like such a lame process, to be honest. Like you never got any like clinical or personal feedback, so you actually could get an interest in actually knowing about the whole thing. But with you, I kind of like, okay, I just thought like there's only one way to go, and that's up. And I've learned a lot. I learned a lot about how my body works with different nutritions, and it actually made me more interested in cooking and taking care of my mental health as well through nutrition and lifestyle. And I really think that this is something I can profit from for many years. So I'm excited to see when I get back to the pitch now. Like I'm back, but if I manage to like see the difference at another level. But I feel leaner, I feel fitter, and I feel much more energized. So it's been a very cool process.
What was the genetics like for you? What was that? Because that's a long session.
It was nuts. It was uh, it was quite overwhelming in the fact of like getting to know like your personality sides, obviously also pro and cons by your body. Something that I kind of like got um, the proof, a lot of proof of how I felt already, and also I discovered new sides of myself that I didn't think that I possibly had in my genes. So it was not emotional, but it was quite a personal thing. Like that little hour or 2 hours we had together, discovering all the details about my genes.
Yeah. And then blood work has been really interesting with you. So normally I just get to send a phlebotomist if they're in the States, wherever. But it's been really interesting going back and forth with you because I have to basically lean on other healthcare providers to get me the information that I need. And then that, falls on you, right, to help interpret. And then I'm getting lab results back in French.
Jesus. Oh my, we did the best. We did the best out of the situation. I went to all my doctors here in France or medical care here in France, and they were like looking me at me with a question mark when I told them what I needed. This is from a nutritionist in America, the crazy woman, you know? No, I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
the stress. I don't know. Here it is.
We did the best out of it, didn't we?
Yeah. And you ended
Mm.
up getting me most of the markers that I needed. I mean, still, the second you land on American soil, I'm gonna be there or something.
Absolutely. We're going to take that blood.
Yes, yes. Uh, but it has been really interesting and just kind of a different dynamic to my work too. And because normally when I'm dealing with players overseas, they're overseas for a short period of time, and then they're traveling to the States to play again, and then they're going back to play on another team. And so you are one that's always over there. You're never here. You don't play over here. So it's like I haven't been able to grab you as much as I could have for some of the blood work. But have you ever had somebody talk about blood work so much? Like, I feel like I'm always asking for your blood work. I'm always talking about your markers. And what is that piece for you? Is it overwhelming? Is it a lot? Is it different from how other dietitians or doctors have talked to you about your blood markers and levels before?
I really got to get it individualized, which is very important for every athlete because we're all different. Um, Obviously, we do blood tests during the season, but the quite basics ones. But like in our work, we kind of like go dig a little bit into the details, and that's how I work on a daily basis as well. I like to dig into details, and I like to do things properly. And obviously, I went from very basic stuff with my clubs, going into the work with you, seeing that like it's such a big world, nutrition and like blood tests and all the gene tests and so much stuff that are not like in discovered before you actually grab those details and do something with them. So obviously the transfer from going a normal club everyday life to digging into the work with them, it's been like a huge difference.
What do you feel like has changed the most with your food if you had to guess?
I would say that I even eat more. I eat more portions of things than I did before, but still add up to the same daily calorie intake. Um, and I eat more carbs. I focus much more on the fiber in the carbs. I've learned a lot about the fats, the good fats that you actually find a lot of fats in different foods that you didn't even think about. I generally think that I'm less hungry as well, if you could say that. But like it's like I feel full when I eat, uh, which is was a maybe a problem before where I always felt that I was lacking a little bit, or always a little bit hungry. So I feel like I've gotten into a rhythm where I'm not like obsessed with the food part, but I just have everything ready because we've like done it so many times now that it got like gotten into my routines.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So if you had to kind of describe, like, oh, if somebody came up to you and said, like, oh, I hear you have like a nutritionist, what, like, what's it like? Like, what should I do it? Like, I don't know. What do you think? Like, how would you describe to someone else that's like, oh, you want to work with Ashley? Well, like, what's it like?
Very like,
Be honest,
yeah,
brutally.
no, but seriously, you've never been like, you always made it fun. First of all, I mean, first of all, it's like it should be an initiative from the athlete as well. So if you get engaged with you, you have to do the work as well. Because if you don't do the work yourself, you don't get any results. So both parts need to be clear about like both parts need to do their jobs. But it's mostly the making the whole project fun has been the most coolest stuff for me. It's like for me, it's been fun to learn about all this. It was never fun before when I got involved with nutritionists in clubs, and that's been the coolest part. And it's never been like you pushing something on me as well, because the initiative always needs to come from yourself. So I really appreciated this, and obviously I always try to improve and become the best version of myself, and this was such a huge part of it. So I'm glad that you got into my life.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you.
We
Um,
never met. We never met.
I know.
But we feel like we were basically very close friends.
Yes, yes. Isn't that funny? Well, and I know so much about you because I know like
Jesus.
every little piece of how your biochemistry works and your brain, and I know so much about you. I feel like I need to start divulging information to make it fair.
I know you know more than my husband does.
It's very funny how quick it happens too, because it's like, oh, okay, nice to meet you. Here we go. All right, so let me tell you exactly how you work in every way, shape, and form.
Oh my god.
You're like, who is this chick?
But I need to add though that um when you're younger, or I think people even go throughout their whole career not like knowing the real importance of nutrition. I feel like nutrition is one of the building stones of performing at a high level. And it kind of like, in my eyes, it sucks that I didn't start with this before I was 25. You know what I mean? I felt like it would be brilliant if I knew this at least 3 years before. Obviously, I had some pretty badass years before we met, but I obviously think, I really believe that I have some big years in front of me only because of the nutrition part that I changed a bit in.
Yeah, you have so much more to go. It's amazing. It's gonna
Mm.
be so freaking fun. I mean, you're gonna live till you're 100 now, right? So
I'm not convinced about that.
that's my goal.
I'm
I'm
not
trying to get
convinced
you all.
about that one.
Let's all get in the mind space. We're all living to 100. We all just gotta get our mind there. That's the baseline. Oh, I remember you reading that book and you were like, I don't know, Ash, maybe like 80 something.
Exactly. I think I'm just gonna say thank you. It was a blast at 80.
No, I gotta have somebody to hang out with in my 99.
True, true.
So that's a good question. Circling back on what you said before. So knowing now, like how intensive our work is, and kind of where you're at mentally at different points in your career as an athlete. You've been an athlete your whole life. What do you think would be the ideal age or the ideal point in a professional athlete's career to interject something like this, so that it wouldn't be overlooked
Hmm.
and like made a waste of, but that it could be fully used to its potential?
I think this is a very important question because when I'm with the younger generation, and I get a lot of questions about nutrition from like 14-year-olds, and I really think that there's at such a young age still, and I think it's very important to find the right timing and not start too early either, not start too late, first of all, but not start too early as well, to not get full too early. If you start to take it way too serious in a very young age, I was serious. I was deadly serious when I was 14, but
Yes.
at not at every single arena. I kind of like, I had my cinnamon buns when I was 14, and I still could kick ass at training. You know what I mean? I feel like it's very important to let people, like, let the youth like develop their bodies, develop their minds, and initially when you feel ready for it, I think it's very important to, okay, focus on the nutrition part, because everyone knows that you need to eat your broccoli, and but obviously when you're 15, I think you also can enjoy yourself having that cake, or just like take it a little bit easy, and then you start to realize the higher level you get at, and the older you get, the more important the part is. So obviously I wish I could start some years earlier with this, but I've really felt ready for it at in 25 as well.
Yeah,
And but to find a balance, I think is very important.
100%.
Don't you
And
think?
huh?
Don't you think that?
Balance. Yes.
Mm.
And I turn away. A lot of people ask. Well, mostly it's a lot of athletes' parents, young athletes' parents will hear that I work with somebody amazing like you, or something, and then they'll say like, "I want you to work with my son or daughter," and they are young, really young, and it's like, well, they need to kind of be in a place where this is like an appropriate next step, because you need a lot of just good baseline nutrition too, just the basics, and that doesn't require somebody like me, like you said, learning about your carbs and your fat and your protein and just eating enough and that kind of stuff. And a lot of that can be done in a less intensive way. And I don't know if you know this, Ada, but I worked for 10 years in the world of eating disorders. Did I tell you that?
You never told me, I think. Maybe you
Yeah.
told me, but I forgot about it.
The first like 8 years of my career was just working with anorexia and bulimia and binge eating disorder and body dysmorphia and all of the emotional eating type stuff. And so that's what I saw all day, every day. So I feel like a lot of that does trickle over into sports. And there's a lot of athletes, and you can probably think of athletes off the top of your head right now that have body issues. They struggle with the way that they look. They restrict their eating even though they're supposed to be fueling properly. They feel like they can't ever have a certain food, or and there's this hard relationship with food. And so I think the age is really important. You have to be ready to dig into this kind of stuff and be able to pay attention and learn about your biochemistry and all that. And I think a lot of like 18, 17-year-olds aren't there yet. They can't even.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
This is advanced stuff.
Yeah. This is like chemistry, biochem, like 410, not 101. But yeah, I think it's important to find like the perfect spot, and I don't know where that is yet. So that's kind of why I asked you, like, what age do you think would have been ideal? So you were 25. So you think like 22?
Yeah, I would definitely think that at that point would be cool.
What were you doing when you were 22? What was going on in that year?
I think well, I won the Ballon d'Or at 23. At 21, 20, I won the Europe's Best Player. I mean, I think it's like a lot about coincidences in your life as well. Like, would I ever met you if I didn't injure myself back in 2020? That's also like the life is full of coincidences. But I think that I think you need to feel ready for it first of all, and obviously, like you talked about eating disorders and like already being an athlete on a high level causes a lot of stress. You need to be very conscious about the whole theme before you dig into this, I think. But for me, I mean, like it came to at a perfect timing. Like maybe the injury came at a perfect timing. You never know. Maybe that was something that made me discover things that I would never discover.
You think the raffle of winning me for years is a pretty good prize?
Absolutely. Or living a healthy mental and physical life as well. I mean, I wanna actually live a normal life after my career as well. So with a
Yes.
normal knees and normal ankles. So I hope that
Yes.
this pays off for this as well.
Yes. Yeah, I appreciate you, Anna. It's been really fun watching you. I cannot wait to see what the next year, 2, 3 brings. You're feeling amazing?
I do. I really do. It's been a life changer, to be honest.
Oh,
It has. Mm. And I'm just
what
going to continue and learn more because I'm still learning and just enjoy myself at the pitch. That's what it's all about.